Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the Vault Dwelling, Jotun Toten, Hive Guardian himself.
Flawless
Guardian, Josh Finney. Hi, Josh.
I had to get that in there.
You did.
Hi,
I
Corey.
forgot. I should have had it ready.
We're going to have an entire Trials conversation tonight because I played so much this weekend. And it's not just, it truly is not because I went flawless. That is definitely part of it.
It's the highlight.
But
to be fair.
The highlight, to be fair. Yeah. No, it was pretty great. It was a great weekend. I celebrated so much when it happened that my headset ripped out of the socket and I was like screaming in my apartment to who I thought was in my party. And I finally realized my cord was just like flailing around. So I plugged back in and he was like, "You went silent mid-scream." He's like, "I genuinely thought Chelsea like yanked the headset off."
Oh, man.
And I says, "Nope, it's all good. I'm down. This is, God, dude, Trials feels so good. It felt so good to go flawless.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to describe it. To go to the lighthouse, we conga lined with Saint. It was great. I spent probably a half hour exploring everything in there, taking all the pictures and videos humanly possible. And I hope it becomes a regular thing. It is definitely more attainable than it's ever been before. I just really want to have words with whoever at Bungie put hipfire grip on Reed's Regret. Because I'm very upset that my adept Reed's Regret dropped with hipfire grip on it.
Yeah.
Very upset. Very upset.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm not fine, Corey. I worked hard for that. I earned it. And I was rewarded with hip firing grip and firing line. Mm. I do like firing line, but my other one that I got was Rampage Killing Wind. It was not a great weekend for the flawless drops.
It's fair.
But it's all good because I got that glowing red armor on, man.
You do.
It's fantastic.
You do. I didn't do anything that exciting. I did make extra characters so I could start doing the gunsmith bounties 12 times a day instead of 4.
God.
So I could get those enhancement cores. I'm trying really hard, man. To be fair, it's Thursday night as of this recording, and I gotta tell you, man, I've worked a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. I worked 14 hours today, so 13, something in there. In that range. Kind of, I don't know. I've been kind of like bummed out lately, to be honest with you. It's been a long couple weeks, for sure. But
For sure. We get to remedy that a little bit with some Halo this week. Huh?
I know. I'm excited.
And Big Team Battle next week. I'm very excited. I just keep looking to see if it's ready.
I'm so excited for Big Team. It's still on track for tonight, right? Like to start tonight or at some point in the morning or whatever?
Yeah, so I think you can do weapon drills and training starting in the morning. And then first play session will be from like 12 to 4 Eastern, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it'll close up, and then we'll come back. They'll come back from like I think like it's like 6 to 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's set times, and they said it's because they're trying to test the server capacity. But the last flight next weekend, they're going to let everybody in.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty wild, I think. And of course, it's Big Team weekend. Mm-hmm. So very excited for it. This is just going to be a lot of fun, man.
I'm excited for Big Team. I'm excited to like test the vehicles out and see how they feel.
I really, really liked the Big Team footage we got from 343 on Wednesday.
Right. The full they released a full clip of a full Big Team battle, right?
Yes, and that's the map that we'll be playing in the flight as well.
Yeah, I figured.
So I like that. It looks really cool. We got like got 20, 30 screens today, pieces of concept art that'll be in the Dark Horse Art of Halo Infinite book.
They've released the wide shot cover too, which looks really good.
Looks so good. It looks so good. This isn't a Halo show, but we do love Halo here. And I'm still eagerly awaiting seeing what's going to happen with the 30th anniversary in regards to actual Halo content.
Yeah. Because there has to be more, right? I mean,
has to be.
I mean,
like we know there is. They're likely holding it because that'll be like the final piece of the marketing puzzle and whatnot.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I really like the needler arm pad, but there's got to be more for my Titan. So sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to derail your transition. I'm kind of tired, but B, my toe really hurts. Side tangent. So I work at a car dealership, and I dropped a car door on my toe today.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's what you did?
Yeah. And
oh my God.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit, Josh. It just hurts a little bit. Okay.
Put some ice on that, take some painkillers, go see a doctor in the morning. It's probably broken.
It's not broken. I mean it's bruised pretty badly. I know it's not broken. I can like move my toes and my feet and that stuff. It's like I feel like I would know if it was broken. It doesn't feel broken. It feels stubbed really bad, and just like the corner of the door landed on my toe. And it's just like, yeah. Oof.
God, dude.
I can send you a picture if you want, Josh.
No, I'm good. I've seen enough messed up feet to last a lifetime.
It's delightful.
Namely my own.
Yeah. Well, nobody really wants to look at anybody else's feet, unless you're into that.
No, not unless you're a weirdo on the internet, no.
So, but Josh, we're not here to talk about Halo. We're not here to talk about feet. We're here to talk about Destiny.
We're here to talk about Destiny. And it's going to be a pretty, if you didn't get it from the intro, it's going to be a pretty trials-heavy episode this week, because that's what Schwab focuses on. What a lot of our changes that will be applied, or that were applied in the hotfix today, will be about. And of course, I really want to talk about loot and everything like that. I've gotten time to actually experience trials instead of just doing 4 or 5 matches real quick before the Tuesday morning reset with Colonel Panic. So I guess let's start there. Before we jump into the Schwab, I guess let's start there. Okay. So, Corey, you played a lot of trials the first weekend.
Yes.
I played a lot the second weekend.
Yes.
Of course, I was gone the first weekend, bemoaning that I was missing trials and hearing from all my friends how awesome it was.
Oh, but you tried to play some PvP with that Backbone.
I did promise a Backbone update. I tried to play some regular Crucible on it. It did not go well for me, so I didn't even bother booting up Trials. I didn't want to get hate mail from my teammates, and the game was clearly only running in 30 frames.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It was lagging pretty bad, man. For me, at least. I had 5G and everything, but I tried playing it both on Wi-Fi and on cellular, and I usually experience dips when I play on cellular, but for some reason, the Wi-Fi was even worse.
To be fair,
it's a resort.
To be fair, Disney's Wi-Fi is not very good.
It's better than it was, because I was able to stream video really consistently without any issues, and that's never happened. So I was happy about that, but no, I played some Psychonauts with the Backbone. Mostly, I did some strikes, did some regular old gunsmith, some planetary expeditions. Did an astral alignment. It's good, but I think my fingers are too cramped up there to properly play an FPS on the go. Just because I need to be able to access my buttons and triggers. Now, I do think that cloud gaming is perfectly fine if you have a controller or if you have a phone mount for your controller. I would probably have played a lot more. I probably would have played some trials then. Or if I was playing like on a tablet or something like that, or on my laptop, something like that. I definitely would have played a bit more. I joked when we were going on vacation at Christmas. It's like, do you think that my family would get upset if I packed the Series S and took it with us because the anniversary event's going to be going on? Halo will just come out, and I really want to play both of those on vacation. And my girlfriend just stared at me until I relented and said, never mind, I'll leave it at home. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if I can slip it into my backpack without her noticing until we get through airport security. See just how much trouble I get in. But cloud gaming. I mean, we're getting the Series X server blade update has been deployed. You can definitely see the changes in it. I didn't really notice it in Destiny, and I think it's because I had a really wonky connection. It has definitely run smoother at my house on my Wi-Fi. I will say that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the worst experience I've ever had. I definitely have had worse. Such as when the browser experience first came out, and I did it on my MacBook that's like 10 years old, and it was really bad. It's like a night and day difference compared to how it used to be.
Yeah, the only thing I really do with, because like I do some cloud gaming stuff, like especially if I'm home like with the kids or whatever, and they're my daughter likes to watch like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and whatever. So sometimes I'll just plug my controller into my laptop and play the cloud gaming stuff through the browser, and like it's definitely better, but I definitely usually only do the gunsmith bounties and like some strikes or something. Like it's not like I'm going out there and trying to do some competitive PvP or raiding or anything through cloud gaming at all. I still feel like it needs a little bit of work. It's definitely laggy. It's definitely, you can tell, but
I mean, it's there. It's, I don't know. We're all kind of like going on this pioneering journey together, I guess. I'll be a lot happier when I can just access my actual own games through cloud gaming and not just my Game Pass library.
Yeah.
Because like I see things like today, the Castlevania Advance Collection got announced, and I'm like, where am I going to buy this? Like the most logical place for me would be, well, I'm probably going to wait and buy it on Xbox, because not only do I want to play those on a little bit of a bigger screen than my Switch, but it's weird. Like if it ever goes to on the go, I would rather be able to play the Xbox version of a game than a Switch version.
Right.
Just for whatever reason. Like I do genuinely like the Backbone controller a lot. I really do. I mentioned that I played some Psychonauts, played a little bit of the Ascent. That didn't respond as well. I think like twin stick games are a little bit rough with it. Definitely played Tetris Effect and Luminous on it, and it was fantastic. It's fantastic. I really like it for those types of games and for indies. I don't know. I'll use it a lot more. Like it's gonna fulfill the function my Switch used to, which is that's how I played a lot of my indie games when the Switch first came out. That's what I would play in bed was my Switch.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be, I'm just gonna pop my phone into my Backbone for a half hour.
It definitely the Switch has definitely kind of taken a back seat for me. Like, and
I mean, I said this. I said it yesterday, and it's like not to gripe about my Switch, but it's kind of gathered a really thick layer of dust for me since Animal Crossing. I skipped Paper Mario last year, just trying to watch money. We were moving at the time, and I'll get to it eventually. But there's been nothing this year, like short of Skyward Sword, that I wanted to play, and even that, like I'm not paying $50 for a port just on principle.
Yeah,
I am getting Metroid, but Metroid will be my one and only purchase this year. Like, if I don't buy Castlevania digitally, Metroid will literally be the one thing I buy this year.
Yeah.
I've just kind of shifted to the point where, like, I'm going to have it, like I do my PS5, for exclusives that I want to play. But it is far and away the least used console in my house is my Switch.
Yeah. And, like, part of that is, like, I mean, I used to run a Nintendo podcast. It's still going, and I'm still on it once in a while.
Right.
But I don't know if it has something to do with that or just, like, I don't want to say I've outgrown Nintendo, but like I just like I've found myself shifting more towards Xbox, and like you, like my Switch has become my exclusive box that I'll play Zelda and I'll probably play Metroid and whatever other else first party game interests me. I used to play indies there, but now with Game Pass, them coming to Game Pass and the cloud stuff and it seeming to work more often than not, it's like I've kind of shifted away from the Switch, and it's like, well, it just, I guess it just happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, to be honest with you.
Right. I mean, they kind of moved back to Trials a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I mean, well, I promised that we would talk about the Backbone. We didn't get to it last week. We had a lot of stuff to talk about. I like a lot of the changes that have been made to Trials. Like I said, I think the matchmaking is great. This past weekend, we had a bit of an experiment. They changed some stuff up to where if you went flawless, you automatically got put into another matchmaking pool, which immediately top PvPers, even a couple of my friends decried it. And we're like, oh, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's going to be hard to farm loot. It's going to be hard for people to do carries or to play with their friends. And I don't disagree with that, but I do think that having a flawless pool did make it a little bit easier for myself to go flawless on Saturday.
Right.
Because those players, I never encountered one person who had the flawless title.
Right, because if you go flawless, you get put into a separate
outside
pool,
of
right?
Friday afternoon, I experienced nothing all weekend.
Right.
I did see a lot of unbrokens. I saw people who would have the flawless emblem, or the 7-win emblem, but I never saw people with the flawless title or like double gilded flawless like I usually do in the first round. And I had one really bad beatdown, and that was it. After that is when I went on my 7-0 run. I think that it's definitely more balanced than it has been. I've seen, and I want to share some feedback that I've gotten, both from people that we play and just things I observed. I don't think Vex is as dominant in a 3v3 mode running head on with it as we like to think that it is. For me, the success I was getting when I was using Mythic class was flanking, catching them unaware and then just pelting them. Because I mean, Vex is very on its own, don't get me wrong, but its real power comes when you get those 2 kills and you can switch it to linear mode. If you're doing that in trials, you're probably part of a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1 at that point. Like, a lot of things are going to help you, not just Vex.
Right.
The Hunter Shatter Dive ability is absolutely, completely, and totally OP. It's still been a problem in like regular Crucible, but that's just about all any hunter I saw was using was stasis, and I can't blame them. I mean, it just locks down a whole chunk of the map, especially on a bigger map. You can use it to kind of funnel the enemy to a location that you want. And that's what we were doing. My buddy Matt would lay down Wither Horde, and I would come in from the side either with a freezing grenade or with Vex and just wipe them out in the hallway on Shores of Time. Most of what I saw this weekend, and I mean they were the top 2 weapons according to Trials report that people used were Vex and Messenger, and that's the exact combo I went with. Vex Messenger, Reed's Regret in my heavy slot, and Stasis Hunter. It's like I don't know. Like, I think that you can play pretty much with what you want to for the first few matches. I think when you start getting towards the end, I'm not saying you have to go with the meta stuff, but you definitely have to go with things that you are familiar with and you can come up with a game plan. Like, I think if you're going to the Lighthouse now and you're doing it solo, that's extremely impressive. Like, I found that for me, if I was in a 3-stack, I wasn't having a whole lot of luck. If I was going solo, I was having some luck. I would get to like 4 or 5 wins and then it would fall apart. Going in as a duo, though, I mean, I made it to Game 7 3 separate times. One time with Nerd Generalist, we fell at the gate. He literally, fell at the gates. We were 4-4 in the final round, and the other team had 2 supers, so it was over. Had used my Mercy with a buddy. We had gotten to the 7th game. Same thing happened. And then the last time, I mean, it was just dominant. We were 5-0 in Game 7. And it's just, you start getting into a cadence. Like, if you have the hot hand, just like keep matchmaking. Don't get out. Don't take a break for anything. Just keep going.
Right.
I think that having God rolls is a good thing. Like, I say this specifically for Messenger. Like, having the God roll is great. Outlaw Desperado, fantastic. I have rapid hit 1 for all on mine, and let me tell you something. It may not be the greatest PvP roll, but there were still plenty of matches where I was dropping all 3. Like, very rapidly too. Like, I was quickly dropping all 3 with those, or that and a combination of Vex if somebody else is coming in from the side. I sniped a little bit. I tried using Eye of Soul a few times.
Ooh.
Look at you.
Pro gamer.
No, right? Trying to change up my tactics a little bit.
Josh Finney, flawless pro gamer here.
Flawless pro gamer. That's right. I
new nickname
didn't
for
even have
next
a good
episode.
Gamer chair. I was sitting back in my recliner. I put the footrest down for Game 7. No, I think that along with a lot of the sandbox changes, is probably, I would say outside of the fusion rifles, this is probably the closest to balance we've ever had the sandbox. Like last season definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
Fusion rifles are obviously dominant. Saw a lot of main ingredient this weekend since Zer was selling a good roll. Saw a fair amount of Jotuns in there. Some Telesto. It just seemed like the secret sauce for us was Wither Horde. And it's not going to work like that on every map. You got to change your tactics week to week.
Right.
I am interested to see what this week brings because they have announced a change already.
Side tangent.
Go ahead.
Side tangent.
Yeah,
Did you see all the people like who were jumping into trials for the first time and they were like, why are we playing the same map? Like a bunch of people who had never done trials before didn't understand that like it's one map the entire weekend. It was cute.
I saw it. It's like, oh, my sweet summer child. One of the things that I suggested upon going flawless, even because I felt bad that I went flawless with my buddy Matt, and I had been trying to go flawless earlier in the day. Like I said, got all the way to Game 7, fell at the gates. The game made sure to tell us multiple times. I would have loved to have been able to run a card with him Sunday morning before reset, for instance, even though I'd already gone flawless. And I think like the suggestion that Bungie is going to implement this weekend is a suggestion that I was making over the weekend, that I don't think the flawless pool needs to go away completely. And I stand by that. Right now, I stand by that. We have 1 weekend of data. We don't have enough data to go off of it yet. And we're going to get in some of the numbers in the TWAB. But one of the things that they're going to do is they are still going to keep the flawless pool. And they're going to do it starting at Sunday at reset, though, for like the last 2 full days of trials. So the first 2, run as many cards as you want, reset, things like that. I think that this is a healthy compromise, because I do think you need to do it at some point, because it will give those people who need that little bit of extra boost time to get over, I think. And I think that gives us Friday evening, that gives us all day Saturday, gives us Sunday morning to run extra cards, run with our friends, things like that. I think really one of my only complaints about trials at the current time is I do think they need to figure that out. And they're going into detail in that in the TWAB, which I'm going to be happy to address here in just a second. I think trials rep is really bizarrely earned. It's clearly to incentivize you. This is what they meant by it. They're trying to incentivize you to not reset, right? Like, and unless you're trying to go flawless, there really is no point in resetting your card unless you like need to go flawless or want to, because you get 5 points of rep per round per win. So if you have a stack of 20 wins, that means at the end of each match you're going to get 100. Because regardless, you're going to get 100. I think that needs to be drastically increased, because when you get to those mythic ranks, that's going to be a nightmare to grind out that much for a reset or for a trials Ingram.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be pretty rough. But I think that's really one of my only major complaints in trials right now. They've addressed a lot of things already. Today's hotfix, for instance, I'm looking at this. Special ammo will no longer refresh when you're rezzed. So if you use both your shotgun shots and you died, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
You got counter sniped. You missed both your shots and then you got sniped. Your buddy in the back can't res you and you pop the sniper again. That's not how it's going to work.
Right.
And then there was an issue with anything you got out of the trials Engram rank rewards. You couldn't masterwork those weapons. That has now been fixed as well. So I'm curious to see what this next weekend is going to bring, because we got a lot of feedback the last 2 weekends. There were a lot of people that were really up in arms last weekend before it launched, while it was launched, after it was launched, and they were trying to say, like, watch, the numbers are going to be so down. And I think the amount of players went down by like 50K.
Yeah.
Which is still good for one of the best weekends across either game. I don't think you saw that much of a drop-off. Now, where you saw a drop, and I guess I'll just kind of segue this, because this basically is the TWAB. we'll kind of segue this in. In the first week, 54% of players were full fire teams versus solos and duos. This week, only 45% were fire teams versus solos and duos, which is considered to be a sharp. To get enough solo players in, we need to offer rewards that are good enough and matchmaking that feels reasonable regardless of skill level. Right now, we have ingrams that you can grind for as well as attractive 7-win rewards, but only if you win. So the first goal here is to keep solo players playing. So week 1. Solo wins were 23% of games. Blowouts, which is 5-0 losses, 38%. And the blowout rate went up steadily over the weekend, which is what I think caused them to say, we're putting a flawless pool in there.
Yeah.
Contrast that with week 2, 36% of games were solo wins. Blowouts went down to 29%. They want to get the solo win rate above 30% and blowouts under 33%.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of trying to balance that. I think they saw a lot of data in week 2 that they liked on that end.
Yeah.
Keeping the game quality high. The sweet spot, we consider 5-1 matches non-competitive as well as 5-0. The sweet spot for us is really between 5-2 and 5-4. Those matches tend to feel good while playing, even if you end up losing. Week 1, we saw 60% of matches end at either 5-0 or 5-1. In week 2, the number of non-competitive matches dropped to 52%, but we'd like to drop that to 30 to 40% over the long term. Again, understandable. Like, this is a pinnacle mode. Yeah. This should not be something that I'm run. Don't get me wrong. I love going in and stomping 5-0. It's a great feeling in a mode like this. It's probably not going to last, though. But that's a really good amount of games that are still, like, even if you're only going to allow 30 to 40%, that's still a lot of non-competitive matches you're going to have.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, it's like one match every, one match every, 3 matches that you could do. Yeah. 4 matches, so.
I think that that's basically probably two matches in a flawless card would likely be blowout wins statistically.
Yeah,
and I don't see a huge problem with that. It's going to happen. Trials is an event, yes, but it's a competitive mode. It is a pinnacle mode. This is equivalent to PvP raids.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. This is high skill level stuff, or doing a grandmaster or something. This is the top of the top, right? And I think that this is less intimidating of a playlist now to go into than competitive has ever been.
Right.
That is just a salt factory. Nobody enjoys that. They address matchmaking times in here, trying to keep it steady at just under 50 seconds per match. And they said the only reason it was even that high is because players who started off on a terrible streak would end up in a pool below the base pool that only looked for other players who had started off losing 10 rounds in a row. It's a very small pool of matchmaking times that last over 4 minutes before the system gives up and expands back to the base pool. They're checking all that out. Other things that worked. We had 700,000 players this weekend. Only 50,000 fewer than week 1. That is higher than expected given a normal drop-off after launch. Combined with Distant Shore being a less popular map. Plus, 253,000 players went flawless.
That's a lot of
games
players.
That were games went 10% longer because they were more competitive. Mm-hmm. And I definitely felt that. We had some that went on forever. We had some that just, bam, we were through 5 rounds in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Other times it was all right, I got to pull us out of matchmaking. I got to get a good drink. I got to go to the bathroom. We were in that for a while. Sometimes it went so long that the tiebreaker comes up, which forces you there. And I know even though we've adjusted those times, even 90-second rounds can feel like an eternity, especially on that 7th win when you're going for it.
Right.
Things that did not work. This is a really big section here. And this is kind of where I want to spend the bulk of the remainder of our trials conversation at. Things that didn't work. 34% less matches played overall, and the number of matches post-flawless dropped by 45%. That is mind-bogglingly bad. It basically says that about half players who went flawless never played another match in the weekend. Hello, I was one of them. I did not boot up into trials a single time after I went flawless Saturday evening.
You're done. You're retired. You're done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm retired. I can hang up my cloak. But no, I didn't want to get put into that flawless pool is what I didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we had, this is the interesting paragraph to me. We had reports of significant numbers of players resetting 5-0 or 6-0 cards, but we saw around 16,000 total cards that were reset while flawless but under 7 wins. Given the vast number of games and cards played, 2.7 million cards were started this weekend, by the way. This isn't a lot, but it is something we're watching, as it's unhealthy for the mode if it becomes more common. This is something that I think if they kept the flawless pool in, this would become a big problem in about 2 to 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I think this would just start growing because you're going to have people leaving the playlist, as always happens as a season goes on, right?
Yeah.
You get the rewards you want, especially people who were able to grind last weekend and get a whole bunch of regrets that first weekend. They're going, well, I don't really have a whole lot that I need anymore. I don't need to go play Trials if I don't want to.
What would be the solution for this, though? Would it, like... would it reset?
I'm not sure.
Reset every weekend? Could you reset your flawless every weekend? Like, you don't get put into the flawless pool unless you go flawless that weekend?
That does reset every weekend.
Oh, that is what they're doing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Every single week, your status is reset. Like, if I went flawless last weekend, I will not be put in that pool this weekend. It is only your status for that weekend.
Then I wonder if they could take, like, personal statistics into that, too. Because, like, what if you're...
I do think that's part of what they're doing.
Yeah. Like, because, like, what if you're, like... playing with two friends that are awesome at Trials and you're basically being carried and you like die every round or whatever, but like, you know, your KD ratio, your efficiency
that was the
is
concern that John and I both had about this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they actually addressed this in this next one. Normally we see nearly 50% of players who go flawless doing so with someone else who is already flawless. Last week it was 56%. This can either be a traditional carry or just playing with friends. That number dropped to 16% in the second week of Trials, which is unacceptably low for friend game content. I think they're going to address that a little bit because it made it so hard for people who have gone flawless to go back and do, whether you're a streamer like Grenadier or Jake, who does he does carries with his community.
Right.
Over on Twitch. Great guy. Go support him. We love Jake. One of the only PvP streamers that I watch. I watch him and True Vanguard a lot. He's really good about it. And understandably, he was outraged about these changes last week because he's like, that's like my whole MO is taking people to the lighthouse and like taking my viewers and, you know, people like that, people who've been in my community and things like that. Like, you know, he lets you gamble channel points basically.
Right.
And whoever bids the most gets to do a card with them. So for people like that, I see why it's frustrating. On the flip side, John was saying, he goes, well, what if you, me, and our buddy Phil managed to go flawless? He goes, then I can't play with my girlfriend the rest of the weekend on any character because I'll automatically be put in that flawless pool.
Yeah, I wonder if
that's a frustrating experience.
They could do, because they should do like if you're playing with your friends and someone's not flawless, maybe you just don't go into the flawless pool, you know, or like you take into consideration how often your teammates played Trials or if they've gone flawless before or something. I mean, I know that that's probably not an easy thing to do, or maybe it is. Maybe they have algorithms and data in there that they can show and be like, hey, these people go flawless all the time and this guy's never gone flawless. How do we adjust that, you know?
Or like this person, like on average does it like once a week. Like here's their overall PvP KD, things like that. Here are the changes that they put in the hotfix today that will take effect tomorrow when they flip the switch. Sunday morning reset will enable the flawless pool. This serves as a middle ground between week 1 and 2 and is the semi-permanent placement for enabling the flawless pool. As always, we'll be looking at analytics and feedbacks, keep telling us what works and what doesn't. We are working on deeper matchmaking solutions, which we hope will let us remove the flawless pool. Look for more info in mid to late October. Great. We said it last week. We said it the week before. We said it when the Trials changes were announced during the Witch Queen stream. Take these 6 months, nail this down, and then apply whatever you do here to Iron Banner.
Right.
That's what you need to do. You copy, paste. That's what you need to do. Yeah. So I really like that. And then we're turning off matchmaking help until you played at least 2 matches during the weekend. I think this is really good. I really like these changes. Specifically, I do think the Sunday morning reset is a healthy medium. You have 2 nights then during your weekend. If you work Friday and Saturday, I don't know what to tell you. Somebody is always going to get screwed. Always.
Yeah.
But I think that's a healthy ground to say, okay, you had 2 full days. You had a 48-hour period to do your flawless, to do your carries, things like that. sorry, it's gonna get a lot harder after noon. And I know inevitably some people can be like, well, why can't we push it to Monday? Well, because nobody plays trials on Monday night or Tuesday morning except for the sweats. Like it's not going to work. And then like it's a weeknight on top of that. Like trials is a weekend event.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a proponent of play the change before we scream at them. I want to see how it feels. I will genuinely go play if I manage, which big if, because I'm not going to go in every weekend expecting to go flawless again. Like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This will let me still enjoy the mode all weekend, though.
Yeah.
On a weekend when player count is probably going to dip pretty hard with a Halo Infinite flight happening.
Oh, yeah.
As well as I don't know if people are really going to respond well to the Trials Labs mode that's going to be up this weekend, which I'll go back and cover here in just a second. We covered some of the previously announced changes. They are going to be doing in the future. They will be removing the matchmaking counter in the future so that you cannot see when people join. You'll only be told when you have a full 6.
Right, because don't people like stop matchmaking? Aren't they taking it out so people, if like a 3-stack jumps in while you're matchmaking, people stop matchmaking because they don't want to go up against a full team? Isn't that kind of what it is?
Definitely did that. I definitely did that a few times, but it's also you have 3 stacks that'll be looking for solo players now.
Oh, okay.
So, and then what to expect looking forward. We expect to take another swing at matchmaking and keep some of the solo/lower skill protections from week 2 without strongly negatively affecting flawless players. We're looking at adjustments to rewards for round and match wins on 7-win cards. Thank God. That would make me not reset it or turn in my flawless card until the end of the weekend then. And then other than that, updates and Trials TWAB reports will be less common as we get Trials into a more stable state. So I love hearing all that. I want to talk about what you call it?
Trials Labs?
I lost my train of thought. Trials Labs. I want to talk about Trials Labs real fast. Just to kind of finish off this whole conversation. Trials Labs is what will be enabled this week. When you are listening to this, Trials Labs will probably be live or will be close to be going live. This is similar to what we used to have with Crucible Labs, where they would try out new modes and new ideas. The normal Trials of Osiris playlist is replaced with Trials Labs Capture Zone. This new mode is still elimination with the following changes. 30 seconds after the round starts, a capture zone is enabled. Players can capture this zone to win the round, or just eliminate the other team like normal. The capture zone has a waypoint from the start of the round, including a countdown timer, so everyone knows exactly when and where it will be. The zone starts in the middle of the map in the first round and changes location each round. I really like this. It's going to force you to not play the lanes.
Right.
I actually really like this. The team who just lost gets the advantaged spawn location. I like that. It's going to force you into a firefight. I'm here for it. I want to try this. This sounds exciting. And it's double Trials rep on top of that. Double Trials rank points for every match. You're feeling the blues of Fabled and Mythic. Me. This is a great week to reset. That's fantastic. I probably put in about 4,000 or 5,000 points last weekend, so I look forward to getting a reset this week. I like it. I think that this is exciting. How do we make this mode spicier than just 3v3 firefight?
I think this is a cool twist on it. It's definitely a cool twist.
Definitely a cool twist. I like that it was the team that just went or just lost a round, because now everyone can just like kind of sprint at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to force the team that just won to keep up the aggression. They're going to have to keep playing aggressive to take it, right?
Right.
I do think that this also danger, and this is why I don't know if it's going to be a permanent mode. If you don't kill real quickly, I think it puts a lot of pressure, because Duskfield grenades, anybody? You chuck one of those at that point when people are standing on it, you're going to freeze them, and then you just shatter dive in or shoot the crystal or whatever. This is going to present some other problems. Like, I'm always for things that will make me rethink my loadout and make me rethink my strategy. This definitely feels like it's going to be one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm very, very ready. We'll see. we'll see. Definitely let us know your opinions on Trials. If you hopped in and played some, I want to know what you guys think. Because this is just intriguing.
Yeah.
I also never knew that the Trials emblems changed your armor color. I never knew that.
Oh, does it? They do?
Yeah, so if you put on the Flawless emblem, your Trials armor will glow red.
Oh.
Where the gold accents are will be red instead. If you put on the 7-win emblem, Light for the Lost, it will turn it blue.
Ooh. That's neat.
I thought it was really cool. I was very happy when I saw that. I may have taken about a dozen pictures in every single color palette you could do.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Because speaking of pictures, moving straight on out of Trials, there's a digital fashion magazine that Bungie is going to be doing. Threads of Light. I really think that this is cool. If you look at the cover of this, there's one for each class. A hunter, a titan, and a warlock. This looks awesome. When you start, they tell you exactly what pieces of armor they were using, and what shader that they each used. Definitely encourage you to go look at these. Of course, Bungie is taking submissions for the next week for their next one that they're going to do in a month or two. They will only pick one person of each class for each of these that they do, which they're aiming to do, I think, every 2 months, they said. Oh, I guess they didn't say. Huh. Okay, I definitely thought that they did. But that's really cool. I like that. And anybody who wins will get a special emblem that only they get, and a copy of the magazine with their Guardian on the front. Which just it's cool. It's cool stuff. Like, this is stuff we would expect the community to do, not Bungie, and that really makes me happy.
Yeah. You know, it'd be even cooler if you had the option to purchase the Guardian, like a 3D printed version of the Guardian that you submitted, if you got chosen.
That would be awesome.
It would probably be like somewhere between $50 and $70, but that'd be so cool.
Oh, bare minimum, I would expect it to be like 100 to 150.
But that would be so cool.
I definitely like it. I think this is really cool. I always like when Bungie encourages the community to create things. We get art of the week. I really like all that.
The art stuff's cool. I really like the art stuff.
I like the emphasis on community creations, and that's something Bungie's always encouraged. And I really like that they're continuing the trend, and now they're rewarding like in-game for these things as well. Like, yeah, we got some special emblems. We're going to do like digital printouts of your Guardian if you get chosen. Things like everybody's going to get to see what you look like with your gamer tag up there. Those are all really cool things to me, though. I don't really have a whole lot more in terms of the TWAB this week. I did want to talk about Reed's Regret a little bit before we shift into any other topics.
Okay.
Didn't really get a chance to talk about it last week. It's the stasis heavy linear fusion that you can get out of Trials. This thing is an absolute monster. We raided last week, and I was doing about 100K a hit with it.
Yeah, with the
I was doing somewhere
with
between
the mod
5
though,
and
right?
100K with firing.
You're talking about with the mod though, right?
I am. I have boss spec on.
Yeah.
I put boss spec on mine. I have 2 different ones I've been using. One is Clown Cartridge Vorpal, and one is Firing Line Triple Tap, and both of them are just absolutely absurd. I really enjoy both of them. It's been a great time. I really like it. But this gun, like, I cannot possibly emphasize enough. Go play even a little bit of Trials. Lose your way to a few engrams. You'll get those first couple ranks real fast. Guardian 1, 2, 3, and the first couple of Fabled or Hero or wherever it's called after that, you can get through like 5 or 6 Ingrams in an afternoon. Easy. I encourage you to go get as many of those as you can, and if you do not have a good threaded needle, which is the Season of the Chosen linear fusion, I believe. It's either threaded needle or imperial needle. I forget which one's the bow, which one's the linear fusion. If you do not have a good one of those, I highly encourage you to go get a good Reed's Regret, which means triple tap, clown cartridge, vorpal, firing line. Those are the perks you want. It doesn't have to be an adept one to be good. Get it, slap a boss spec on it, profit. Put on particle deaccelerator. This thing is an absolute monster. Like, if you don't, or if you need to run another exotic instead of sleeper, this is an excellent, excellent, excellent choice. It's one of the best DPS weapons in the game, if not the best legendary DPS right now. I think it's absolutely essential for anybody who wants to do endgame content. You want to go do dungeons, you want to do raids. Hell, you want to play PvP. This is it's a great linear fusion in PvP as well. I was popping off with a couple of hits real fast when I managed to pick up heavy in trials last weekend. We haven't talked about our specific gear in quite a while. We still haven't broken down really the seasonal weapons yet, which I do apologize for. I want to get to in one of the next couple of weeks. But this right now, this is the clear standout to me this season in terms of a weapon you need to do everything in your power to get a hold of. And if you did not get Shayura's Wrath last season in Trials, because obviously, as we all know, Trials was not super accessible, I would also encourage Shayura's Wrath as well. I got one with Kill Clip and Heating Up on it, which I have been super thrilled about. Really, really, really like that I'm running that. So, just wanted to mention that real fast. I know we said we were done with Trials talk. Wanted to talk about those. I was having a lot of fun running in the Strikes playlist last weekend, running all that stuff.
I feel like having that
Trials, I was just kind of able to go seamless.
I feel like having that Reed's Regret really opens up your exotic slot for other weapons, because like I was running Sleeper,
right,
and there's definitely other exotics that I would like. I don't know, just for like maybe ad clear or just to, you know, have a free slot open in that primary or secondary slot, right? And like having Reed's Regret would really open up your other two exotic slots for something.
Well, I mean, so for me, it was nice when we were raiding, because if I got teleported, you know, we were having you and Mitch pick up the cleansing relic in Atheon. It allowed me to put on something other than a primary sniper.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could use this. I could save this for my DPS, and I could use my sniper for something else.
Right.
I could run Mythic. I was able to run Mythiclass in my energy slot almost the entire raid as a result, which was really, really nice. I basically had a second linear fusion, but then it went to a fusion auto rifle hybrid. It's great. Like I really enjoy the different combinations you can make. I know that a couple friends of ours are running Aegir Scepter, Null Composure, and Reed's Regret all together on Stasis, and are just making monstrous combos.
Plus,
that's definitely something I want to play around this weekend.
Plus, with like some of those new Stasis mods that Nerd was talking about earlier today.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, by the time you listen to this, they may not be up anymore. Definitely watch for the seasonal mods that are being sold at the Compass Station, because there are some nutty ones that help generate even more stasis shards, which I already have an aspect that does that on my hunter. Yeah. So like I'm throwing my melees, and I'm getting with that, if I'm running Aegir Scepter and I'm using Reed's Regret, which each time I pop one off, I'm creating crystals too, it seems, especially if you have Headstone.
Yeah.
Then and that's why I want that sidearm when Iron Banner comes back next week. I want that sidearm.
You mean the cool sidearm with Headstone on it that I use constantly when I'm not?
Yes.
It's really cool.
I love Peacebound is probably as much as I like Reed's Regret, Peacebound is probably my favorite new weapon of the entire season.
I gotta tell you,
Josh, really need to roll with. Fuck you. I needed to roll with Headstone.
When you pop a headshot and you just see that big stasis stone pop out of the ground, it's very nice. It's very cool. Don't be jealous that I have one and you don't. I actually have two of them. You can have one. There's no weapon trading, so I can't give it to you.
No, you. I definitely like the wacky combos that we're able to make right now. I like seasonal mods. It's funny because if I don't immediately see a way to slot it into my build, I wait for other people to experiment with builds like elemental wells. I let other people experiment with that, and then I profit from it. So
it's fair.
Very, very happy with the initial slate of stasis weapons that we're getting. I hope that this means that we're going to get specific perks for certain weapon affinities with these 3.0 reworks coming. Very excited to see what happens with the Void ones. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep talking myself into a circle, but yeah, Trials and Iron Banner weapons, 2 thumbs up right now. They're great. They're great this season. Go get them. Go get all of them. Tell me about your god rolls that I can't seem to get the drop from me.
Would you like me to tell you the roll I have on my sidearm?
I would not.
Okay. It's I have.
Fuck you.
I have rangefinder and headstone on the one that I have right now.
Ooh.
So you're welcome. And I masterworked it, so it's nice.
Oh, we got a badass over here.
Hey, you know what? Don't make fun of me just because you don't have it. Just because you're upset.
I do whatever I want to do.
It's a good time. I love that sidearm, though. I'm not a sidearm guy at all, but that sidearm is just... delicious.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. It's delightful. So
I'm looking to see what we're gonna do. Okay, I've got them pulled up. Corey, as we do at the end of every show, why don't we take a trip to the lore corner?
Let's do it. Let's do some lore corner, Josh. I'm ready for it. You know what?
Let's in fact do some lore corner.
I've been waiting for it.
Have you?
I have. It's my favorite part of the show, Josh. You know this.
I do. So this is going to be from the Ripples book for this season. Wick burnt black. Saint's recent reports were unfocused, Zavala said with a sigh. Ikora nods from across the office. She stands with her arms crossed tightly over her chest. He suffered through an eternity of battle to keep us safe. Then he comes to the tower and lets his guard down, lets himself carry someone, and that's when he gets hurt. She grimaces. Badly. Zavala shifts in his chair and runs his large hands over his desk. His palms have memorized its every bump, every groove. I'm giving him space, but I don't know what else I can do. I'm not sure if he even believes the real Osiris is hidden away somewhere, but he's out there all the same. He just has to do something. I can understand the feeling, Ikora says quietly. It's what I should have been doing, seeing things my hidden missed, out in the field, putting the pieces together. Her lips curl in disgust, not wasting time in the tower waiting for an attack. Zavala looks up at her and frowns. It's not like you to second-guess yourself. Ikora's jaw tightens. Bitter fire flickers in her eyes. Maybe I should. Her voice is brittle. I brought Osiris. Savathun inside our walls. Yes, as you did with Mithrax and the House of Light, Zavala counters evenly. But Ikora lowers her eyes. People died for that too. As Zavala rises from his seat, she turns away. The last thing she wants is to be comforted. She hears him lean against his desk and a patient silence fills the room. Finally, Ikora lets her arms fall to her sides. When she looks at Zavala, his expression is one of confusion rather than concern. It's been years since I've heard you talk like this, he says. Frustration rises in her. I looked in his eyes and I didn't see it. Neither did I. None of us did. Zavala's face looks almost serene, which makes Ikora want to hurl a Nova Bomb into it. Listen, he says, we have conquered the Cabal in their arenas. We have chased the Hive into their ascendant plane, the Vex deep into their network. We've been tricked by the god of trickery, and we have fought the god of war on the battlefield. Zavala's mouth tightens into a grim line. When we go up against the gods, we fight them on their terms. That usually means we take the first hit. We can't choose when that happens, but we can make damn sure we're the ones left standing. He sits back down at his desk and racks a sheaf of papers, as if putting a period on his sentence. Ikora clasps her hands behind her back, then takes a long breath. I'll support him as best as I can, she says. Share all my intel on Osiris. Anything we learned while my hidden were shadowing Crow after he first rose. If Savathun left a trail, I'll find it. I know you will, Zavala says. Ikora allows his words to reach her. I wish there was a way to get him back, she says quietly. Saint or Osiris? Zavala asks, looking up. The hem of Ikora's robe whispers softly across the floor as she leaves his office. This almost certainly feels like it's set up for what we see in the trailer, with Ikora and the maps and all the papers that she has on that whiteboard that we see in the Witch Queen trailer. This feels like it's direct setup for that, like that her and the Hidden are going to take a starring role for once in an expansion.
Yeah.
We've heard about the Hidden for years. We've gotten messages from Anor, and we know that Eris was part of the Hidden at one point.
What? So, can you remind me what the Hidden are?
So, the Hidden are Ikora's spy network, essentially. Think of it like Uldren, when he was the Prince of the Reef, had his crows, his spies. That's very much what Ikora's people are doing. They keep her informed on all the dealings out there in the world. Eris was a Hidden, for example, and would report to her on what Marasov was doing because Eris had the trust of Marasov. I do feel like this is kind of starting to brace us for the possibility that Osiris is actually completely dead.
Yeah.
And he's not being locked up like Mad Eye Moody somewhere. Between this and the Savathun lore that we got a few weeks ago, it definitely feels like we're careening towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's revealed, I think Saint is the one who ends up doing something really brash and maybe the one who frees Savathun on accident.
Yeah.
Before Amara is ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely afraid of what's going to happen. I don't think Saint is in any danger of being killed off. I do think Crow is in danger at this point, though.
Which is weird because
I do think Crow is.
They spent so much time.
Well, we've had a whole year with his story now. To be clear, I don't think that Crow will be killed off, but I do think there is some level of danger for him now.
Yeah.
And it's because he's so determined to talk to Savathun, and Amara and Petra are trying so hard to prevent it. It's at some point he's gonna get to talk to her. He's gonna find out who he is. Like we've seen, Mara's plan is for him to gradually find out who he was, and for parts of Old Uldren and Crow to kind of merge together.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Crow wants that. I think as Crow finds out who he was, he's going to be disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to see the way he acted towards everybody.
Yeah.
In pursuit of vengeance, in pursuit of revenge, and is going to say, no, enough is enough.
Yeah.
The other one that we've got, I don't think we've covered this one, but if we have, we have. It's for Lawrence Driver. I don't think we've talked about the Lawrence Driver yet. And it's a short one, but I think it kind of gives us also a clue for where we may be going with part of the 30th anniversary event and whatnot. What about this rifle? Scorso asks over the sound of two brakes moving cargo. Her overseer, a three-armed vandal named Pilksney. Pixie? We're going to say it Pixie. Pulls back Pixie. The drop covering it. I'm saying Pixie. He takes a moment to assess the way the rifle is placed together from non-weapon components, then motions toward where the Briggs are walking. Good meals can still spoil, Pixie says. Bring it, but all these spare parts can be left behind. Scorso nods in acknowledgement, but instead of immediately returning to work, she slides up close to Pixie, her eyes darting around the warehouse. Is this really happening? She asks in a whisper. Pixie steps away from her as she sets the rifle down on a nearby crate. Maybe. 2 hands in greeting, 2 hands concealed. It's a matter of survival. Scorso challenges Pixie's avoidance and circles around the crate, 4 eyes narrow. Spider's scared, she whispers again. Isn't he? Pixie quickly leans in. You say that any louder and I can't protect you from what will happen next, he says in a sharp whisper, glancing over his shoulder. Where would we even go, Scorso asks, searching Pixie's many eyes. Her supervisor's answer is a backpedaling shrug. Don't know, Pixie lies and gives her a toothy smile. But like some Elixni say, the light provides. This is small, but I think this is slightly consequential. We know Spider is furious that we bought Crow's freedom off of him. Mm-hmm. He has been less and less pleased since he used us to clear out the Barrens in Forsaken, going back on his deals multiple times, trying to use us for his dirty work, etc., etc. That is going to come to a head. I mean, we had to kill Spider's brother during the Black Armory stuff. He's the one who tried to do the heist from Scourge of the Past, and he's the one who tried to do the heist in Outbreak. So I do wonder, at what point do we fight Spider himself? And surely it won't be until the Tangled Shore is sunset.
Mm-hmm. You think that'll be some sort of dungeon?
I could very easily see him being a dungeon boss. In fact, I even said, I said that I felt this could tie into 30th anniversary content. We know in the 30th anniversary dungeon, Zur is the one giving us the instructions to go through it.
Right.
What if Spider is trying to pillage it of all of its riches and we have to get Gjallarhorn and kill it?
Maybe. Could be.
Dude, give him the fucking Taniks chair. Give him the Taniks shank.
Oh, God.
I just want to see him riding around on it. That would be hilarious. I'm kidding. That also would probably give me nightmares.
If Taniks comes back, dude, at any point.
If Taniks comes back, I'm going to hear the choppers of Nam when I spawn in. It's going to be real bad. But I like this because now even Spider's Elixni are starting to doubt his leadership, which we saw last season as well, right? When he was ordering them to, go in and sabotage and things like that. I think that you have a lot of things that you could do here, and I don't know that the Spider storyline is going to be resolved right now, or if Tangled Shore will be sunset sometime next year. Mm-hmm. I do remember them saying they wanted the content to be free for everyone for a while before sunsetting it. Mm-hmm. But then again, the Ascendant Plane this season is, when we go in there into the Shattered Realm, it's the EDZ, it's the Dreadnought, and it's the Tangled Shore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is the Tangled Shore being sunset? We should probably know here pretty soon.
I thought they weren't sunsetting anything.
I don't know what they are or aren't doing, considering we didn't get any details. Yeah. I personally don't think sunsetting anything, but I do think that the EDZ, as this year has shown, is basically useless now. Yeah, we're done. We did so much there the first couple of years that it doesn't make sense for us to keep returning to that one section of Earth. It makes more sense for us to go to the Cosmodrome.
You mean Trossland to do our gunsmith bounties real quick and then just leave?
Dude, the amount of times I've killed the boss under the church isn't even funny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That Lost Sector boss, when he sees me coming, is just like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know.
Get us out of here.
I think Spider, something's gonna happen, right? Something's got to happen with Spider, right? It just, I don't know. I feel like something has to happen, but I guess we'll talk about it on another
Something's got to happen. They don't plant things like this without having a plan.
Yeah.
And it's been clear ever since we got Crow free that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
all right, Josh. We'll get out of here.
But before we get out of here for good, though, we may be done with Lore Corner. There's one more thing.
Oh, boy.
We'll give a shout-out to one person in particular. Someone that you and I are a big fan of is Bungie's newest community manager.
Yeah.
Liana Rupert from Game Informer is the new community manager over there at Bungie. We're big fans of you. We like you a lot. Congratulations. Now we get to bug you about where is the TWAB.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did like that. I did laugh a lot at her tweet when she announced it, saying that the amount of where TWAB lists that she's been added to already is slightly concerning.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, and then Cosmo did a poll today. Would anybody wear a shirt if we made one that says "Where's TWAB"? Mm-hmm. And what is it? Tom Warren from The Verge said, no, you need to spell out where TWAB, like WEAR. Mm-hmm. It's like, God damn it, guys. I can't do what that means in this community. Liana, congratulations. We know you've worked really hard for this. We're proud of you. Mm-hmm. Sad to see you leave Game Informer. I always liked reading your coverage over there, but
I did too. Very excited. This is something that I feel
this is a dream job.
This is her. This is the perfect role for her, right? I just feel like that's. Yeah, she's gonna fit right in, and to be fair, the amount of Where's TWAB lists that she's been added to, she knew what she was signing up for.
Oh yeah, I feel like when you go to apply there, I wonder when you do the interview, do you have to sign, instead of sending an NDA, you have to sign an acknowledgement that you know that you're going to be added to a whole bunch of lists of internet weirdos?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
I don't know. I really I like this though. I always love seeing people from the community and people who cover the game get to go work. I mean, we've talked about it so many times on this show. Luke Smith was a journalist.
Yeah.
And then got hired to go do the Bungie official podcast, and now he's the franchise director of Destiny. Like that is just that's a wild career trajectory, right?
I know.
Like
it's crazy.
I want to echo something that Liana said this week, which is always chase your dreams. And absolutely, like it will, like good things will happen if you keep trying hard enough.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Corey, get us on out of here.
I'm chasing my dream with Tower Casuals, Josh.
That's right. This is my dream too.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Maybe someday one of us will work for Bungie, and the other one will be
both of us.
Yeah, maybe Tower Casuals will just become the Bungie official Destiny podcast someday.
That's right. That's right.
Look, Liana follows me. I have an in now at Bungie. I have an in. I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
Never.
No. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals. You can email the show at towercasuals@gmail.com. We want your questions, comments, thoughts. Send them to us. We want them. Okay? I that's something that I aim to do more now, is to have more community interaction, as I skipped all of the social media posts today. So that was my fault. But I do want to have more community interaction. If you are listening, if you are watching, leave a comment, email us, tweet at us. We want it. You can follow us on Instagram now too at Tower Casuals as well. Yeah, I thank you for your time, Josh. Where can we find you?
At Josh_Finn, 2 N's. Twitter and Twitch, baby. I did an entire stream accidentally muted the other night. It's great. Didn't realize the PS5 auto mutes your microphone. That was great to find out after 3 hours of Deathloop, in which I was trying to talk to people and I was narrating what I was doing, talking through how so much of the design is lifted. When I say lifted, I mean like exactly lifted from Dishonored 2.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I mean, if it ain't broke.
I mean, Dishonored 2 is one of the best design games I've ever played. So
yeah.
I was telling Corey before the show, if you haven't played Dishonored and you have a PS5 or a PC that is capable of running it, I urge you to play it. Do not wait a full year for it to come to Game Pass. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go buy Deathloop for $60.
Okay. You said Dishonored, so I was trying to be clear.
Dishonored, Deathloop. Play Dishonored 2 while you're at it. Play Dishonored 2, yeah. Death of the Outsider.
If you have Game Pass,
play everything from Arcane.
All the Dishonored games and Prey are on Game Pass, so you could play those too.
Arcane has never made a bad game in my opinion. Deathloop is incredible though. I'm only like 3-4 hours into it, and it's like probably in my game of the year conversation already.
Ooh.
I would say it's like this and Psychonauts are the far and away leaders.
Yeah.
So definitely go pick it up.
Cool.
Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram. That is CoreyInHD. I am Corey in HD on those platforms. You can find me hanging around. I kind of want to start streaming more. I've been thinking about it. It's Corey in HD on Twitch if you want to follow me there too. If you want. No pressure. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye, Guardians.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye now.
Every time. Every